Okay, here's the right quarter panel on this Cordoba. It's worse than the other side, not by a whole lot, but noticeably so. We'll start up here in the front. This particular patch is smaller, but it's taller. The other one was across the whole bottom. This is good up there, just back here. We've got a couple pinholes there. I'll have to patch the inner end. This is about the same on the other as it was on the other side. It's rough cut right now. It'll actually get a little bit bigger than that, but and then there's a little bit of the inner on that particular patch. There's a little bit right there, which isn't terribly bad. And then we get into the patch in the back of the quarter. That's not pretty, but that's not super bad. The inner, the trunk drop off here, there's a few little pinholes. I'll get a little closer here if I can, if it'll focus. Maybe it won't. There's some there, there's a couple there. Well, there's my focus. So, and there's a few back here. And I'll braze most of those shut. A couple of the bigger ones I might have to weld. But otherwise it's decent shape. The bottom edge is good and solid. That's not rotted away, and that's the important thing. It gives me a place to reference as I build my patch. In the back, this is a lot like the other side, and I'll patch that as we go. This whole patch, let me roll this down a little bit here. There we go, that's a better angle for me. That whole patch is probably, the other one I ended up cutting up higher just the way the patch happened to fit better, so I could get to the back side, and I'll probably do the same thing on this one, cut a little higher. The rot really wasn't that bad in there, but sometimes you make the patch for what you have to fit, not necessarily how big the rust is. This is the only problem that's kind of a pain in the butt for me. Right there, all those little pinholes, because you can kind of see this body line here travels all the way down to, and it ends right about here. So I've got and this is on the I guess the high side of the body line. So I haven't quite exactly figured out how I'm going to make that. I think I know how I want to do it, but we shall see. And as this video goes along, you'll get to see it in just a matter of moments instead of a matter of days like what it's going to take me. It'll only take you a couple minutes. Alright. Okay, here we are in the interim. I'll get closer here. I've got this little patch put in here. It's hard to see. I've already painted it for putting in the patch over the top of the bigger patch, but the inner wheel well patch is done. There's a little bit welded in here, brazed a couple pinholes there. I haven't done, come on, focus. Come on. There we go. I haven't done a whole lot in the back part. I've brazed a little bit of these pinholes down here. I haven't 100% decided how I want to do all that yet, mostly because of what this up here. But I got this patch in here too. That looks pretty ugly, but that's only just the initial grinding on it. So back up here. Okay, here we are, about to finish this last patch for the quarter panel on the right side here. I did a little bit of welding right up in here. There was a little there, and there's some pinholes and whatever else in here. That's taken care of, and that's got this weld-through coating on there. I use that all over the place. You got to do something to help stop the rust on the seams, and which is, of course, and all along here. Up through here, and this looks ugly, but that gets covered, and there was about 3 or 4 layers, whoops, right in that spot. So if that's not 100% perfect, by the time we get done with all the welding and the patching, right there, it's going to be just fine. And I've also got access to it from the inside and behind and stuff yet too, to kind of clean up some of that. And originally this was all just spot welded together, whereas probably in this area it'll end up being more of a seam weld. So if it's not as perfectly strong because there's rust there, it's not that big of a deal due to the seam weld that ends up in there. Then you can see, oops, let me move this a little bit. You can see that that's all black now. I put a light coating of POR 15 on there. That's a pretty amazing product. POR stands for paint over rust. Not that there was much rust there, a couple little surface spots, but it's designed to go over bare metal and rust and stop the rust dead in its tracks. And even if it only works half as good as it's supposed to, that's still probably twice what the factory had in there, because there really wasn't anything. And oops, here is my patch. Here's the inside of it, if I can reach far enough away. And again, the inside of it, I put some POR 15 on, and then there's the weld through coating on there also. Oops, dang it, sorry about that. And here it is from the outside. I lightly sandblasted it to get all the gook off. And there it is. And we will soon see the finished patch. Okay, here we are. Quarter panel is all welded up. All the patches are put in. Come over here and take a look at this one. Most recent, of course. So I went in there. Actually, I think pretty stinking nice. I've got almost, that's really nice and flat. There's a little bit of warpage there, but when you weld about 24 inches on sheet metal, you're going to have a little something. But it's tough to see in the picture, but not much. I've fixed dents that are a heck of a lot worse. And again, just like the other side, this detail, see if I can, come on, focus, there we go. This is kind of sucked in just a little bit. The quarter panel does one of these numbers. Got that in there too. And here's the bottom. Oh, I just remembered I forgot to weld something up. Right there, I gotta weld that up. Well, won't be the first time I forgot something. And the welder's not put away yet anyway, so I still have some more on other places to do. I got this little patch in there. That was kind of a mess of a patch, but sometimes that's just the way life goes on a restoration. You just kind of punt. It'll be okay in the end. That's what they make filler for, and it's a complex body line. You can kind of see it here. You know, you've got this body line right here, and it kind of fades away as it comes around on this corner. So that's what's going on there, although it's really tough to see it just in the bare metal, but that's what it's going to look like. And then there's this patch and that one. They're about the same, and then same type of patch anyway, and I had one right there. Wasn't near as bad as the other side, and same thing with this. This wasn't near as bad as the other side either, and still have a little bit of grinding to do in there on this one anyway. But otherwise, for the most part, oops, this quarter panel is done, at least in the patching department. Next step will be to do the rear body panel, where there's a few little rust spots here and there on that one too.